Hi, I'm Reese. Kendrick Lamar just released a single in the album, and in it he describes the culture. But what is the culture? The culture is a lot, but specifically for Black people, it's everything we identify as, or say we identify as. I don't know. We put a lot in the definition of the culture. You know, this is the culture, that is the culture. Rap is part of the culture. So is barbecues. So is fashion. So many of the things that we put as the culture. But this song got me thinking about what the culture really is. You know, before it would have been something I kind of just accepted. Whenever someone said this culture, I just kind of accepted it. I didn't really think that hard about it. But from the way he was describing it, it's almost like culture is a symbolic shield that we use to empower and embolden ourselves as Black people. We use it as like a, a trumpet blaring that we're here, you know, that we exist, that we matter. To say that we've contributed so much to this world because it feels like no one cares. So we make noise, a lot of noise, because we have a lot to say and there's a lot of things that need to change. But there's another side to the culture. Things we condone as people even though we know it's wrong. Why? Why do we continue to ignore or even encourage parts of our culture we know we would be better without? Well, there's not just one answer to that, right? There's multiple, right? It's a complicated issue because we experience so much pain as a culture, as a people, and we've used that pain to make beautiful things, such as music, such as innovation, such as pushing not just our own culture, but American culture, worldwide culture forward. And we've seen ourselves do that. And we've also seen ourselves not get credit or benefit directly from it. Young Thug was just arrested on RICO charges on 56 indictments of gang activity. 56 indictments on RICO charges. They got him for pretty much, they got him for murder, robberies, racketeering, narcotics, assault. They even got terroristic charges on him. I even heard a story. I think I saw an article where members of his gang, YSL, were in a shootout that may have resulted in the death of a kid. A kid died, and even if that story is not necessarily true, people died. That's just real for property they don't even own. But that's the thing, isn't it? Every day somebody dies over property that somebody else is gonna flip into a Starbucks. We don't own any of it. It's gonna be made into a Whole Foods, and then we're gonna be forced to move out. All we get is another parent outliving their child, another soul extinguished, another T-shirt to wear, another sigil to light a candle at. You know the sad thing? The sad thing is that Young Thug contributed so much. He provided entertainment, comfort for millions of people. Like I don't want to he was the inspiration for so many, not only fans but also artists that came after him. He provided stability for the people who worked for him. He was able to provide for his family the ability to be able to see their wildest dreams come true. He was probably able to get some people out of situations that they wouldn't be able to get out of. You know, he was planning on building a city. Yeah, yeah, a city called Slime City, which already is a super dope name. He had received, I think, 100 acres of land from his agent or manager or something like that, and he had planned on filling it with affordable housing and a place to start his own music festival. But now that could just be gone. And so all these things that he was gonna do could be just gone. And the culture will just move on. Society will just move on. And they'll find a new person. Because that's what we do. See, Kendrick got me thinking about these things, and then like a couple days later, Young Thug gets arrested, and it had me seeing it in a different light than I would have if I hadn't listened to the song. The two sides of culture, the things that we shout so loud about. We created rock and roll. We created blues, jazz, R&B, hip hop. We are the basis of what what society wears, how they talk, what they think. Like we are everything cool, and we've made that our own through the struggles we've been through. We made things that were cool. We literally like brands that were just at a Payless or a City Trends, and we take that, and if enough of us wore it, then all of a sudden the brand will go up. I remember when Champion was like no one was wearing Champion, no one cared. I remember I could walk into literally the same Champion hoodie, the one with got Champion across it. I could walk into a freaking a Sears, not Sears, a Marshalls, and buy that hoodie and buy like the sweatshirt, the t-shirt, the hoodie, all for $10. That's what we do. That's what we do as a culture. We've taken a thing and we make it cool, and then that thing profits. But it seems hard for us to do that. It seems hard for us to profit for some reason. And so we talk and we scream and we yell and we shout Black Lives Matter. But then even our leaders in Black Lives Matter take advantage and they buy a $6 million home. But that's culture. It's culture to be like, if I can get out, then I will. If I can move my family out the hood, I will. You see, there's some people who go back and they try to help the place they're from. But there's so many who try to get out as fast as possible, and I don't blame them. For them, it's survival. And to the people who are courageous enough to go back and try to help, like you're heroes. And then there's the other side of culture, where for some reason, not for some reason, there's plenty of reasons, but there is this thing where we look at whether it's gang activity or drug dealing, and or I've heard stories of people who did what they felt like they had to because there was no other option. They couldn't get a job here. The mistake they made when they were a kid cost them their whole life, and so there was nothing else for them. There was no way for them to be able to provide. They needed to pay bills somehow. Someone was sick. There's so many reasons, and it's that leniency because there are so many reasons that has caused us to let some people through. Some people to encourage, even raise a generation up that encourages that type of activity because they see it as a way out, or they see it as a viable career in a weird way. A career, I know. See, a lot of people are going to try and paint Young Thug as one thing or the other. You know, either, oh, free Young Thug, he ain't do nothing wrong, or you got to lock him up, he's a criminal and he deserves to be locked up for the rest of his life. And a lot of people are going to try and put him in one of these two boxes. And it's never that simple because Young Thug is just a product of the culture. He's not the reason for it. And until we start asking ourselves what the reason is and what we can do to change it, nothing's going to change. And yeah, we can get into systematic racism and things put in place to keep us down and all that. Like, yeah, we can talk about that, and those are things that should be talked about. But before we can deal with something on the outside, you gotta deal with the things on the inside. What we can say to each other. Like I want to get it twisted. Those things that are against us on the outside are things that we need to address. but the things on the inside, the things that we tell each other, the things that we put on each other, the generational trauma we've passed down from the times of slavery. It's time we address it. I don't think we've addressed it in a way that is conducive to any growth. We're having splintered conversations with this sector and this section, all that stuff. Never, like, there's plenty of communities where they've come together after a trauma, after something that was traumatic or even genocide, and they've come together and they've talked it through. That's what the Jewish people did after the Holocaust. Where they were like, this will never happen again. So they educate their children on how, not even just what happened, but what led up to it happening, so it can't happen again. And that's a powerful thing. The culture. It's so many things. Some people, it's a shield against what's out there. But for many of us, it's a cage where we've put all the things that have been forcibly integrated into our environment. So now we feel the need to defend parts of our community that hurt us. Like a toxic relationship. Many of the things that we don't want to do ourselves, but we see someone else doing it, and because they look like us, and someone who doesn't is saying something, we defend it. And we're scared, because we're scared that if we say any different, right, or we act different towards culture, then we'd be a traitor, in a sense. I've seen this counterculture to our culture, whereas black kids are growing up, where they're like, I'm not a thug. You know, yeah, I grew up in the hood, but I'm not into, rap, or I'm not into this or that or whatever. And they're looked at as weird. I was one of them, I like comic books, I liked anime. And I grew up at a time when that was strange. Nowadays, it's cool. You can like all that stuff because it's popular. But before Iron Man came out, that wasn't a thing. You had to be tough. Whether you're a man or a woman, you had to be tough. Ain't no crying. What you crying about? But if we said anything, then we're betraying. Betraying our family, our friends, the cause, our people. We'd be betraying the culture. Yep, that's it. So I really appreciate you guys coming and watching this video. It was just something that was on my mind. I felt really inspired to do something or say something about it. So I really appreciate it if you watched this. If you didn't, I don't know how you're listening to me say this. But if you've gotten this far, I appreciate if you like, subscribe, comment on what you think, because this is obviously a discussion, and I will always like a back and forth. And if you can, subscribe. Did I say subscribe? I don't remember if I said subscribe. But if I didn't, or if I did, subscribe twice, make sure it's stuck. And I really appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys next time.
They're thinking in their mind, oh, what a dangerous game. Just a moment with the wrong thought.